Hello guys, so total change of scenery here, right? It is cold. My phone says it is 2 degrees outside, but we are nearing the mid-end of February, and so we need to start some seeds. We need to start some seeds. I feel like I'm really behind this year. I know I'm not, but I feel like I'm really behind. So for our area, we typically starting seeds between 8 to 10 weeks before our last frost date. And so that's coming up on us really quick here. And so I'm going to get organized and just go through some stuff with you guys. What I use, why I use it, what we're starting, and stuff like that. This is something I had hoped to do with you guys last year, and it just never happened. So this is, again, just how we do things here. Doesn't mean it's the perfect way, doesn't mean it's the right way, just means it works for us. And so we're not going to use anything fancy. I'm not going to use heat mats. Do I wish maybe I had some heat mats to use? Sure, because then I wouldn't have to have, flats of seeds starting in my living room where it is significantly warmer than where my grow lights are. But that's a story for a different day. We are going to make do with what we have, and we're going to make it work. We've been doing it this way for the last 4 years now. And so if it isn't broke, why fix it, right? I promised Dave that I would scale back my garden this year. So I'm going to try really hard to scale back what I'm doing, because I promised him I would only use about half of my garden space this year. And so let's see what we come up with. We're going to start what we need to start today. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. So this is what we're going to put into our soil bin. I just picked this up at the Walmart because I was there and it's what they had. This stuff in here currently is not Jiffy. I started with Jiffy last year and it smelled kind of musty, and so I didn't continue with it, but I don't remember what this is. This is leftover from last year. I like to add some of this to my start mix just for good drainage. I don't really have an exact science of it. I just mix it in. And we are going to add this as well. See if we can not make a giant mess. Right, here we go. I always add too much for my container, or my mixing bowls for that matter. Compact's a little too much for me. Goodness gracious, there we go. I'm going to start with this. These are some of my favorite trays. I have another one here. I got these, 2020 or so, 2021, something like that. And they are reusable. These are actually like little rubber pieces, silicone. So you can pop them out as you're trying to transplant them. They clean really easy, and they have the bottom for bottom watering, which I prefer. And so I have a couple of these. I have invested in more of these as I have gone, and they do come in bigger sizes. Here's another one. Same type of thing. So I brought up a couple of these where we start. Every year I forget to get my little identification sticks, and you can tell this is not the first year. So every year I tend to end up using handy dandy masking tape to mark off what we've got. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I am the most excited about a lot of these hot peppers this year. So we're gonna start with our hot peppers. We are trying some varieties that we love, and we're trying some varieties that are new to us. So we are gonna start with these. We go through a lot of jalapenos. We use a lot of these fresh. I use a lot of them in bread, and then I pickle a lot of them, and I make a lot of them into cowboy candy. So even though I have told Dave I am keeping the garden small, we're still gonna start quite a few of these. These ones are Burpee Organics Early. We've grown these the last few years. They get to be about 3 inches long or so, I'd say, not huge. And if you leave them on the vine, they will turn red. So we did get a different variety of jalapenos this year from, I believe, M.I. Gardner. You'll see I've got a couple different seed sources. M.I. Gardner so far has been my favorite. We will be trying a different variety or a different seed source this year. I have never ordered from Baker Creek before, but after a girlfriend of mine said that I had to, I decided I had to, and it was the only place I could find some of these peppers I was looking for. So let's get some of these guys started. And I try to just drop 2 seeds per my little indent. And then as needed, you can thin them out. And we're aiming for a 1/4 inch. It says that these can take up to 21 days to emerge. So that is why we have to start these guys so early. It's because otherwise, by the time we get to a 75-day maturity date, we are going to be looking at almost fall. All right, so we got our jalapenos in. As you can see, I don't do anything fancy. It's just tape. This is jalapenos across my two rows of cells. So nothing drastic. Next, these are our serranos. We have grown these before as well. These are the M.I. Gardner ones. And I don't think I need a dozen of these. For the most part, I use these when I am making salsa or salsa verde, or if I have extras, I'll throw them into a hot sauce recipe. But for the most part, I don't like spicy, and so you're not going to see me eating these off the vine at all. And these, we tend to pick them green just because that's how you see them in the store. But if they do get left on, they will turn pretty shades of red and orange. So, I don't know, maybe we'll start 6 just because that's a row of cells that we've got here. And what are these? 75 days to maturity, 1/4 inch deep. Perfect. Pepper seeds don't require light to germinate. We are actually just gonna kind of put these in our south facing window, which is right above one of our heat registers. And that is how I have been starting my seeds since about 2020, so about 4 years, 5 years now. Last year I did try to start them underneath my grow lights, but it was too cold and I ended up having to replant everything, almost everything. And so that really kind of set me behind, and so takes me back to, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We are gonna continue on with starting where we have normally started. But we have a pretty little house, and I was trying to save on some space, and I was trying to keep the dog out of them. So these seeds are a couple years old at this point. So if I start seeing, yeah, these were packaged for 2022. So if I start seeing a drop in germination, it's probably because they're decently old seeds. Otherwise, my germination rates with Am I Gardener have been terrific, usually right around 100%. So I have been thrilled with Am I Gardener, the cost of Am I Gardener, and just how well their seeds do. So we are not affiliated with them or anything in this video whatsoever. I am just here to share with you what has worked for us, what we enjoy, and some of our favorite varieties of seeds. So again, I have a couple more varieties of hot peppers that I would have loved to have started, but I did promise somebody that I'd be good. All right, up next are gonna be, we have grown these as well before. So these are both habaneros, Caribbeans, orange and red. So they're the same variety, I guess I'd say. Just one is red and one is orange. I did not have good luck last year with the red. They germinated, and then once I transplanted them into the garden, they didn't do great. But the oranges for the last 2 years, we've grown these the last 2 years, have done really well. The first year I grew these, I don't think I started them early enough, and so I didn't get much off of them, but last year they produced like crazy, and we made some habanero ghost pepper bourbon hot sauce. And while it's too hot for me to try, I have heard from Dave and a few other people we gifted it to that these are a hit. So we're gonna grow some more of these this year. Because these are so hot, I don't think I need a ton of these either. And so I might just do 3 of each and just mark that row of cells as habaneros and call it a day. But what I was saying before is these peppers do not require light to germinate, just heat. And so having them right over the top of our heat register, especially in that south-facing window, is great. This is probably ideally where a heat mat would be great because your germination temperature for these peppers, that's why I love Am I Gardener. The back of their seed packets are just phenomenal with instructions and everything else. But the germination temperature suggested for these peppers is 90 degrees. So I can't achieve that in just my south-facing window, but I don't have a heat mat, and we've done okay for the last few years, so we're just gonna run with it. Right. We really enjoyed these. So these are more Am I Gardener. These were packed for 2024. These are Hungarian yellow wax, also known as, well, or close to the banana pepper, which is exactly what we both, Dave and I, thought that they were. They grew and I was like, I'm pretty sure these are supposed to be a Hungarian yellow wax, but they looked like a banana pepper. They tasted kind of like a banana pepper, and we pickled them like they were banana peppers. And Dave said 10 out of 10. So we're going to grow some more of these again this year. And I'm probably going to go for the whole half dozen. So let's get these guys in here. And so it's stuff like this where once you start getting accustomed to the varieties that you know you love, then you have an easier time deciding what and how many to grow. So once these guys all start kind of popping up, I don't want them to get leggy. And so they'll stay up here where it's really nice and warm, toasty in that south-facing window. They'll still get some sun, but once they start popping up and they're just getting to be a little like half-inch tall, I will move them underneath my grow lights so that they don't get stressed and leggy. So these were also packed. These were packed for 2023. These are, I am going to say this totally wrong, Boot Jolokia peppers. They are a ghost pepper variety, if I understood my research correctly. These ones require 85 days. These were another one that the first year I grew them, I didn't give them enough time. And I think I only got 3 peppers off of them. And they're not big peppers. And so last year, I finally got a couple of them started early enough and out in the garden, and they started producing. And these are what we mixed with our habaneros and our bourbon to make our habanero bourbon ghost pepper hot sauce that everybody liked. So, three seeds left in here. We're just going to kerplunk them right into here. And hopefully they all germinate. But if not, that's okay. Here we go. We have one cell, one tray started. And as you can see, you end up with a little soil in the bottom of your bottom watering pot, but not enough that I guess I've ever complained about it. So I'm going to get these set in front of the window and let's continue. So what we're going to start is another Am I Gardener variety, and these are the peppercini peppers. And these ones, I learned the hard way last year that we do not need many of these at all. Honestly, probably keeping back one of these would be more than enough to keep us in peppercinis for the whole year. So I'm going to start one whole row of these. And when we have extras, okay, this one is new to us. I have finally gotten my hands on some poblano seeds. These are from Burpee. All right, so I'm only going to start 3 of these because I have not grown them before, and so I don't really know how we will use them. And so up until I know how to use them, if we like them, I don't want to start a whole bunch of them. So if you have a favorite way to use poblanos, let us know in the comments. Okay, we are super excited about, this is our Baker Creek pepper, and this is the Apocalypse Scorpion pepper. And this is supposed to be one of the hottest peppers that you can get. It was just released in 2015, and this is our first year trying these. And because I have not grown these before, again, I am just going to start 3. 1. And this is another Baker Creek. And these guys, don't they just look kind of like mean? They just look mean to me. And these are Carolina Reapers. So according to the description on these are the hottest pepper on the market. Yeah, it says the hottest pepper in the world, fiery red with a tail at the blossom end. Please, goodness. All right. 1. We started these California Wonders last year, and the seed packet was from 2023. So we've been growing those the past 2 years, and we have had good results with those. And I like having enough that I can freeze them and throw them in the freezer for the future use. So we're going to start another good 6 of those. Sometimes I just like some color. I'm not a big fan of a green pepper, and so I just like to have some different colors. So these are the big reds. According to their packet, they like it cooler weathered, and we're just going to start 3 of these. Last but not least, for these cells here, and we're just going to do 3 each. These are also new to us, Baker Creek bull-nosed peppers. Thought that these sounded super interesting because it says they are a very historic heirloom, even going back to Thomas Jefferson growing them on his farm. So the history nerd in me said we had to give them a try. All right, and last but not least, new to us again from Baker Creek are these Ozark Giants. I am pretty excited about these. We are going to start 6 of these. So it says that these are also an old heirloom favorite, and that they get to be pretty decently sized and have thick flesh. So I'm hoping that we can pick these and use them to freeze for stuffed peppers for a ready-to-go dinner. All right, broccoli. This is a burpee heirloom variety called Waltham 29. And it's the variety we've been trying for the last few years. Not few years, I think we've tried 3. This should be our 3rd year trying broccoli. All right, these guys are tiny. Cauliflower. This is another burpee variety that is supposed to be self-blanching, but I have yet to actually get mine to develop a head. I get this great big beautiful plant that never develops a cauliflower head. So we're gonna try again. Trying to escape. Brussels sprouts. Every year we've tried them. We take them all the way because they're cold hardy, and so we take them just about all the way into like our first frost. And then it seems to be that I forget about them almost every year. And so we get actual like good sized Brussels sprouts out of them. And then we determined that this year, this fall, we are going to get Brussels sprouts. Determined. All right, and I have never grown lemon balm before. This was actually sent to me on accident by Emma Gardner, and they told me I could go ahead and keep it. And so we're going to try to plant it. Can't say I've ever used lemon balm for anything either. These seeds are tiny. Holy cow. 1/8 of an inch deep. Goodness gracious. All right. This might just be kind of a, we're just going to sow some on the top and see how it goes. I mean, these are teeny tiny. You see how teeny tiny those are? Alright guys, so those are the peppers that will take us through the whole year. Those are some varieties that we love, how we use them, and some new to us peppers that we are quite excited about. You also saw us start some of our brassicas, some of our broccoli, our cauliflower, and so that is all that we are going to start this year in terms of peppers and our brassicas. We will be starting our tomatoes next. Again, I will be trying to be good, as I did promise Dave that I would stick to a much smaller garden this year. And so this is just a couple clips of us starting a couple flowers as well. We learned last year that we really enjoyed flowers in the garden. And so thanks so much for joining us, guys. We hope you learned that it really isn't too hard and it doesn't need to be too intimidating to start some starts, and it can save you quite a bit of money versus going to your local greenhouse or even your big box store and buying starts already started. So we hope it gave you some inspiration to start some starts yourself, because honestly, if we can do it in our south-facing window, you guys can do it too. So thanks for joining us, guys, and we look forward to seeing you next time.